everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Quite Frankly. It's 7 o'clock p.m. on the dot. It's the 17th day of December, 2024. We're just logging it. Always logging the date and time for the last 20 years, almost. And boy, I think we're going to have a good one tonight. Because guess why? A good portion of the show is going to be good news. That's right. Good news. And maybe we'll take a little bit of this into 2025 as well. So that'll be nice. We're going to get through some good news items of the day. Some of it will actually be just like, the Liz Cheney news. But then after that, we're going to get into other good things, stories from around the country that you might not have heard of. Because it just doesn't have the sex and guts and blood that's required to gain entry into the now 16-hour news cycle. But then we're going to welcome back Monica Kelsey from Safe Haven Baby Box on, I don't know, it's going to be around 7:40 my time. So about 40 minutes into this broadcast. And we're going to take a little bit of a progress report from her. How are things going with the baby boxes? I always get these headlines every once in a while that a new box is opened up in a different state and that there's a baby that's saved and all that. We'll go into that a little bit more as we welcome her back. She's been on twice before now, and it's been at least a year since she's been on last, and I don't know, just wanted some good news before we get to the second half. And that's actually, the second half isn't that dark. I'm sure that you've heard and seen all of the theories about whether or not these UFOs are looking for somebody or something that might be radioactive. That it's a nationwide search party for one thing or another. Well, I'll just throw that out there real quick, and then we'll get into a schizo post from 2022 that I'm pretty sure that we did before. But it's going around again, and because it complements all of the seek, recovery, search and recovery kind of theories that are bouncing around right now, thought that'd be fun to go through, as well as take some of your calls. I also want to give away a 1 ounce round of copper tonight with Donald Trump's head on it. It's my last Donald Trump copper round. So there's that, a few other things. I don't know. It's good. Tomorrow should be good because I'm going to be looking through, scary ghost stories, Christmas ghost stories. I think that there's more out there than just Christmas Carol and the visitation of the three ghosts. I want to look into that a little bit. Maybe I'll have something for you tomorrow. But there's other great things that are happening tonight and tomorrow, and then on Thursday when we have Father Jason Sharon on, and then Friday night is going to be the play-by-play on George Washington's getting bled to death. It's essentially what happened. Oh, anywho. Well, I'm so happy to have you here tonight. Last night's After Hours was a hoot as well, and I can't wait to do it all over again. 7:03 p.m., and I got to do my due diligence here. Go and do some last-minute Christmas shopping on the affiliates page at quitefrankly.tv. And let me also say, you can go to the Sponsor Us page and get either yourself or someone you love a sponsorship to Quite Frankly, because it's not only supports the show, but you get an entire world of VIP exclusive stuff that's unlocked to you, for you. Book, film club now, Sunday streams, direct messaging, all that stuff. It is really a great thing, even at the most basic level of entry. And then there's a whole bunch of specialty tiers, Polaroids and postcards every month, and pen pal tiers that I'm going to be expanding. So, because people really love the pen pals, and I love that. Let's read and let's write letters. Let's feel like human beings again. Okay, that's all we have for that. In the opening, let's get into the grab bag, and the first thing we have right over here is another trip into the December edition of the Quite Frankly Bulletin. And that is right here. Where are we? It's the Advent calendar. We have to check in. What was today? Today's the 17th, and there you have it. Your Quite Frankly Advent calendar is telling you, call into the show or connect with a fellow Franklies in the chat room, whatever chat room it is, especially the Gilded chat, because there's always chit chat going on over there. There's also the Discord. Both of them are linked in the description below or on the About Us page on quitefrankly.tv. Join the Gilded or the Discord, especially if I start doing a lot more, late night gaming and stuff. I think that I'm more directly linked with the Discord on that one. So you'd be able to see, and I don't know about the observing, but I'm figuring all that out. That's another aspect of our fun that we're going to be having coming up. So that's the 17th. Call into the show. And if you do so, you might win a copper round. If not, you just have a great conversation with me for a couple of minutes. All right, here's another one for you. This day in history. 1903, the Wright brothers take their first flight. That's right. Not a long one, but a very big one. Orville and Wilbur Redenbacher. Wilbur Wright successfully complete their first flight in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I'm pretty sure it's Kitty Hawk. No? Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. I know that you guys have on your license plates down there, first in flight. So Orville and Wilbur Wright successfully complete their first flight in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Orville was the one who captained the plane while Wilbur ran alongside it. That sounds like me and Anthony. I remember one time, I don't know why I didn't have a bike. Something was wrong with it. Maybe the brakes were busted. Something was wrong. And Anthony's bike was the only one that was available to us. But we had friends over, and of course, Anthony always tagged along. But I wanted to have the bike. And there was only one thing. And there was two of us. There's one transportation device and two of us. And I convinced my brother. I had to have been like 9 or something, and he was 7. I convinced him that I'm going to ride the bike, but he should run on foot next to us because it'll make his muscles bigger. And it worked. And we did a couple of miles that day. And every once in a while, to keep his head in the game, I'd say, Aunt, let me see, let's see your muscles. And he'd be like, he'd be coming up and see, and we're like, whoa, it's happening. Your arms are getting bigger. See, we can see that ripple, right? Like we were like complimenting his arms and stuff, little string bean arms. And that was my con. I conned him that day. I must have done a lot of stuff like that, but I wanted the bike, and that's just happened. And here's the other funny thing is, even if he did have the bike, he would have fallen behind. I used to love, there's one time that we were riding bikes. It was me and Anthony and a couple of our friends, and he's tagging along again, and he's just falling behind. And we're going up this hill. And anytime he starts falling behind, you hear his frantic screaming from the back to help, please stop, guys. And this one time, I'll always remember it. We're going up this hill, not even a big hill. And in the distance, we hear, Frank, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. This little 10-year-old voice, so dramatic, like running through the rice paddies in Vietnam or something. I don't know. Oh, man, I'm not going to make it. Pedal harder. Give me that shit. Anyway, Orville and Wilbur Wright. Orville was left on the ground running, so Anthony was Orville. No, I was Orville, and Wilbur was running. Anthony was Wilbur. At 10:30 a.m., Orville left the ground and flew around 120 feet in 12 seconds. The Wright brothers flew 3 more times that day, with the longest flight, lasting 852 feet for 59 seconds. It was their first controlled, sustained flight of a powered, heavier-than-air craft in history. And with that, the future of air travel has changed forever. And you know what? It needs to be just really marveled again what a little bit over a century has brought us. So I'm saying it's nuts. What's happened in that century, has been nuts. And you think about everything that's been suppressed. So that's the story. There you have it. Okay, here's one for you. Not exactly happy news. So I guess the good news is going to come after this. International Business Times, Virginia hunter killed by a falling bear that was chased up a tree by fellow hunters and shot. A hunter was standing roughly 10 feet away from the base of the tree when the incident occurred, according to state wildlife officials. Awful. A Virginia man tragically died after being struck by a bear that fell from a tree during a hunting trip, according to state wildlife officials. Lester C. Harvey, 58 years old, of Phoenix, Virginia, was standing roughly 10 feet from the base of the tree when the incident occurred, according to the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources. The bear had been chased up the tree by a group of hunters. As the hunters retreated from the area, one of them shot the animal, causing it to fall. The falling bear struck Harvey, inflicting injuries that ultimately proved fatal. Jeez, how big was this bear? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. If a third grader falls on you from high up, it's, Emergency responders transported Harvey to a hospital in serious but stable condition, but he later succumbed to his injuries. Self-employed contractor, outdoorsman, survived by his wife, 3 sons, and 2 daughters and 8 grandchildren. Oh, man. A bear fell on your head. Well, all right. There's one. Now, this, I guess, is not good news, but, no, it is good news. This is when the news starts getting good. Here's the headline for you. I'm a doctor. Here's how you can avoid catching chlamydia from gym equipment. Okay? So it is good news. It's going to help you avoid getting chlamydia. A leading doctor has weighed in on viral social media claims that they say it's possible to get chlamydia from touching gym equipment. Yeah, that's what they all said. Well, it's a funny story. It was the upright row machine that did it to me. No, I'm a virgin. Otherwise, the rumor began with a TikToker who claimed he contracted an STI at the gym after wiping his eye with a towel that he placed on a bench. Okay, I can see that. Now, what is it? Did he get pink eye, or did he? User Grinny45 said he had to visit the doctor after getting what he thought was pink eye, also known as conjunctivitis, a minor infection in the eye, but the test revealed it was actually chlamydia. Good grief. Confused as he hadn't been sexually active. Loser. No, just kidding. Good for you, kid. Doesn't matter. You still got the clap. The doctor asked if he worked out in a public gym. Chances are someone had sweated on the seat that you put your gym towel on, wiped your face, and got pink eye. That's what the doctor told him. Another video, a user, Alaska Young 77, blamed this on the phenomenon of women going commando in the gym. Ladies, please. Others then responded and shared clips of themselves excessively wiping down gym equipment in fear of getting eye chlamydia. Now, Dr. Zach Turner, a leading biomedical scientist and doctor from Sydney, has offered his medical verdict. Quote, the latest viral panic swirling around social media has gym goers terrified that they'll catch chlamydia from their squat racks and yoga mats. Before you start setting fire to your gym membership, let's unpack this one thing at a time. Can you get chlamydia from gym equipment? No. Chlamydia is not the ghost of sweaty treadmills past, waiting to haunt your reproductive system. Unlike the flu or staph, what is that? I guess. More on that later. Chlamydia, the bacterium behind the common STI, doesn't survive long outside the body. It's not living its best life on gym benches and hand weights or ellipticals. Oh, yeah, she definitely has chlamydia. That's chlamydia ass if I've ever seen one. For chlamydia to be transmitted, there needs to be a direct membrane to mucus contact, usually through sexual activity. Sex! So unless you're getting far too intimate with the gym equipment, which people are doing, a conversation for another day, you can unclench your glutes, you're safe. No, when you unclench your glutes, that's when it happens. Keep them clenched. Is there any possibility that it could happen? In science, Zach says, we never say never. But this claim is extremely unlikely. Chlamydia needs a warm, moist environment, like the human body, to survive. This is just chock full of jokes. Once exposed to air or gym wipes, it's toast. It's done. The same applies to those viral koala chlamydia jokes. Koalas? Because chlamydia is a serious issue for koalas. It's actually a different strain that affects their eyes and reproductive health, but unless you're cuddling with wild koalas mid-spin class, you're still in the clear. Oh, yeah, probably one of those, those therapy animals. People bring Chinese box turtles onto planes now. Said, it's my therapy turtle. I don't know, somebody's going to walk around with a koala hugging their leg. No doubt about it. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, just watch out. Something else to watch out for. And that's all we have on that. All right, so let's get this one kicked off again. And we will be right back. Thank you, guys and gals. Talk to you in a jiff.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's
on a Real America's Voice show. And here's what he had to say. This is a couple of minutes long, and I'll let him go ahead and say it himself.
Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been investigating January 6th, just released its final report for this year. It accuses Liz Cheney of tampering with the witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, trying to influence her testimony. It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminally investigate Liz Cheney when President Trump takes over on January 20th. One of several bombshell revelations in here. The report also says that Jack Smith colluded with the January 6th committee, but that some of the evidence has not yet been turned over to Congress. They're demanding that evidence be turned over, something that might happen when the new administration takes over. But a really significant and rare moment for Congress to actually suggest that one of its members should be criminally prosecuted for tampering with a witness in an official government proceeding.
That would be great. I mean, obviously, we would have loved to seen her mass murderer father go down. But if we have to get the runt of the Cheney litter, that's fine too. Not like she isn't a bitch. Criminal. Go ahead. That would be wonderful. I'd love to see that. But I mean, something's got to happen. You know, Donald Trump is won against Stephanopoulos and ABC, and he's talking about going after Iowa and all that stuff. People like Liz Cheney need to go to jail. People much higher status than Liz Cheney need to go to jail if there's going to be any significant, lasting impacts. Gonna have to. They don't care who they throw in jail, especially since we're talking about January 6th. You think about the lives, the families that have been ruined because they had to make more of this than it was. So, yeah.
House hearing, the January 6th House hearing. As you remember, Cassidy Hutchinson was the bombshell witness for the Democrats, claimed that Donald Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limousine, take it to the Capitol. We now know that wasn't true. The Secret Service.
That's the claim that Cassidy Hutchinson put forward about Donald Trump reaching through the divider inside of the beast to essentially strangle his Secret Service. We were laughing about this when it happened, but they're very serious people. And they will follow every lead until they get to the truth. That's how committed they are to us. So you remember they actually made an accompanying, I think it was a comic book, some kind of a comic strip to actually illustrate Donald Trump going through this. Then we start getting, Donald Trump throwing things around and smashing plates.
had already told Liz Cheney it wasn't true. She presented the evidence anyways to the American public, tried to give it credence. There's some other testimony where Cassidy Hutchinson talks about a document she claims she wrote it. She didn't. Someone else wrote it. All of that is laid out in this report. But the headline is Liz Cheney could be facing an FBI criminal investigation based on this information that Congress has transmitted this morning.
John, a quick follow-up real quick. I'm looking at witness tampering, obviously a federal crime, up to potentially 20 years in prison if this is witness tampering.
It's a very serious allegation. And
good. Well, here's to hoping. Here's to hoping. Because if we misplace a decimal point on our taxes next quarter, oh boy, they'll send the Terminator after us. So, it would be nice. So there's that. Okay, so now I want to string together some other things that aren't very political at all. Good news. It is the 17th of December. Despite that, we've got to do more of this anyway. So let's just jump into it. I went to the Good News Network that I usually read a lot, and I used to pull a lot of things from, but I haven't. I don't know. We've been too busy with assassinations and everything else. So let's just sink back, relax, and then hopefully that'll lead us smoothly into tonight's guest, who's also in the business of good news. All right, here you go. First headline, 20-year-old hiker survives to see family again after incredible 50 days lost in the Rockies. We had a couple of survival stories last night. One I'm sure that nobody will ever forget. Caller Lori, who I sent out her black wheelchair Santa today. I hope she enjoys it. Maybe we'll get some more good news stories from you guys tonight when you call in. From the mountains of British Columbia comes the story of a hiker who's been found alive after being lost in the woods for 5 weeks. At a remote provincial park with nighttime temperatures plunging to -4, that's negative 20 degrees centigrade, Sam Benestick struck out on October 7th for a 10-day camping and fishing trip. Relatives said that he was well prepared and packed a wool hat and gloves, a hatchet, and plenty of peanut butter, but when he failed to return to his family home on the 17th, fear circulated among the small communities in northeast BC. CBC News confirmed from Sam's mother, Sandra Crocker, that he had been found on a remote access road and taken to the hospital for frostbite, exhaustion, and smoke inhalation. In an update published on November 29th, CBC confirmed that he had been discharged from the hospital. The story was followed by veteran reporter Andrew Kurjata and is flush with details. Borrowing his mother's Honda dirt bike, Benestick landed at a trailhead and planned to hike about 80 kilometers to catch Arctic grayling. Crocker told the CBC that Benestick was feeling a bit listless after returning from an extended trip to Europe and felt he needed an adventure. That adventure, coupled with 10 days of planned excursion, lasted 50 days, but in a picture shared with CBC, Crocker showed her son giving a thumbs up from his hospital bed with the caption, "He complained that he didn't even catch one fish." So he went out there to catch some grayling and nothing happened. Redfern-Keeley Provincial Park is a remote area 660 miles north of Vancouver and boasts exquisite Rocky Mountain scenery, but threatens visitors with unpredictable weather, wolves, bears, no potable water, no telecommunications coverage. According to the BC Search and Rescue Association, more than 120 volunteers were involved in efforts to find Benestick with motor vehicles, aircraft across vast park, in part formed by Timber Bigfoot, land environment manager and member of the Prophet River First Nation, whose territory extends to the park. So they got him. He stayed in his car for a couple of days. He walked to a creek mountainside where he camped for 10 to 15 days before he moved down the valley and built a camp and shelter in a dried out creek bed. It sounds like he was having a good time. It's an amazing environment and climate to try to survive, Bigfoot told Kurjata, adding he'd love the opportunity to debrief the lost hiker. "I think it's a miracle, and I congratulate him for being a tough person. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police were also involved in the search effort, but haven't shared any details. The only person who has since spoken with Sam or Sandra has been Mike Reed, a general manager of the Buffalo Inn in Pink Mountain. According to Reed, Benestick's plans went awry when he had to retreat from either one of the multiple wolves, so he was encountering wolves. After escaping their unfriendly jaws, he may have made camp to avoid the worst of several inches of snow that blanketed the park in October. He was eventually found on an access road by surveyors who had been on a series of remote tracks for weeks, marking trees around potential well sites. They saw someone walking down toward them. According to Reed, they were surprised because although they had seen a lot of ATVs and snowmobiles, it was not the place for hikers. Well, good for him. And where is he? There he is. His eyes are all patched up. Did the wolves take his eyes? I don't know. What's that all about? Let's see him. Maybe that's because of the frostbite. Maybe his eyes were frostbitten. That could be it. My mother told me today that she went to go see the doctor, have an eye exam or something, and he concluded that she sleeps with her eyes not completely closed, and that freaked me out. I said, Mom, I better not find you laying on the couch with your eyes open. Just don't freak me out. I'm glad I actually know this. I'm glad I know this. She says, no, it's not like my eyes are open. It's just a little tiny slit. So at least they figured that out. Does anybody else out there sleep with their eyes open? Call into the show later on. Here's a Christmas miracle for you. Christmas miracle after dying donkey is rescued and given shelter. A surprise birth in stable. Wow. The real story of Nestor. In a delightful and kind Christmas story, a pair of British travelers found room at the inn for a dying donkey who then gave birth to a foal after receiving treatment. Sue and Andy Toach were due to escape the cold of England with a winter vacation out in Boa Vista, Cape Verde. As it happened, Sue spotted a post on their hotel's Facebook page about a dying donkey found stranded on the beach. Animal lovers both, the Toaches, purchased some supplies to take in a bid to save the skeletal and sick donkey named Bella Ryu from death. So Bella Ryu is the name of the donkey. On arrival, Sue teamed up with other hotel guests and local tour guides to find a veterinarian who might be able to treat Bella. They managed to find a home for her at a local riding center, and just days later, Bella gave birth in the stable when nobody had even known that she was pregnant. When Bella was found, she was very skinny. Her hips and ribs were visible. Her coat was matted, and she was covered in parasites, Sue told the British media outlet SWNS. When I got there, I was grooming her twice a day and would sit and talk to her after I gave her twice daily medicine. The local tour guides came back to us the next day, and they said that they had found a man, Sydney, who could take Bella, she said. Arrangements were made, and once in the stable, it didn't take long for Bella to get settled in for her new temporary home. She even made friends with one of his horses, who had been a fellow rescue. It's probably the father of the baby donkey. Oh, good to see you again. Sue and Andy were due to fly home when she got a call from the tour guide, Lindsay, saying Bella had given birth overnight. She had suspected Bella might be pregnant, but vets were unable to bring her in to be scanned, so nobody knew for sure. Now fast recovering Bella and her surprise son, named Spaghetti, live happily in their new home. I left before I got to meet Spaghetti, but we promised to go back. Well, you can FaceTime. It's 2024. It's FaceTime. You'll meet Spaghetti. We want Bella and Spaghetti to have a fantastic life there, said the inspired Sue, who, along with the other guests, have started a GoFundMe to raise money for the rest of Bella's treatment. There you have it. I wonder what Luigi Mangione has to say about this. There you have it. Look at them. Mother and son. Bella and Spaghetti. Did that bring a smile to your face? I hope so. That's what tonight's show is all about. Smiles, faces. Here's a headline for you that I thought was pretty interesting. Illinois deputies say pregnant driver whose runaway car was heading straight for a lake. I can't wait to learn about what the hell they're talking about in this headline. A pregnant motorist was recently saved from plunging into a lake when her brakes failed. Oh, okay. I said, I hope it's a technical difficulty. She didn't just forget how to drive. Shortly after 2 a.m. on Monday, 911 received a call from a distressed woman saying that her car would not stop. Moving at approximately 30 miles an hour, Williamson County Sheriff Department, they eventually reached her on Old Route 13 near Carterville, Illinois, and found that the Chevrolet's brake lights were on, but the car wouldn't slow. The deputies then performed a rolling roadblock maneuver wherein they positioned themselves in front of the distressed motorist and gradually slowed until the front bumper of her car touched the back bumper of the patrol car. The deputy was then applied his thankfully functioning brakes, which slowed both cars until the danger was over. The site of the car's ultimate stop was just a quarter of a mile from the local Crab Orchard Lake. Had the deputy not been on scene or delayed performing this maneuver, the driver in the vehicle would have likely gone into the water upon reaching the lake, stated Williamson County Sheriff Jeff Dietrich in a Facebook post. EMS arrived on the scene out of an abundance of caution, as the driver later informed the deputy she was pregnant. Wow. Brake failures is one of those things. Yeah. Have you ever had a brake failure? That's another question I'd love to hear from you guys. You know, I've thought about scenarios like that. If the brakes go, you still have the emergency brake. You do whatever the hell you can with that, but you got to find a wall, a guardrail, something to grind into. And not all guardrails, of course. A big concrete wall would be good just to do some grinding. Shave the car down into half a car. I don't know, but that's scary as shit. So she was going 30 miles an hour, though. You'd expect, like, I'm used to hearing stories like that where it can't brake and all of a sudden the car is on, like, it's accelerating and it can't stop accelerating. Sounds like she had cruise control. There's another thing that I wonder about, because a lot of these cars have digital cruise control now. If you can get the car into cruise control and then manually tick back the miles per hour, which I can do on my car, is that one way you can slow it down now? I wonder what car she was driving. I want to know more about this. But I'm glad she's all right, and good job by the police. Great job indeed. Okay, so here's another one for you, and it's going to lead right into tonight's show. Into tonight's guest, I should say. Kansas installs first safe haven baby box in Hutchinson. Kansas's first safe haven baby box was unveiled at Fire Station 1 in Hutchinson on Thursday. Now, this was dated December 5th. Okay? On Thursday, marking significant step in providing parents in crisis with a secure, anonymous option for surrendering infants. Being on the cutting edge is about meeting the needs of our community, Hutchinson Fire Chief Stephen Beer said. This is going to be another great thing for the city of Hutchinson. The baby box, located at 2222 North Main Street, allows parents to surrender infants without facing judgment or surveillance. Once a baby is placed inside, an alarm notifies 911, prompting a quick response. Within 5 minutes at the latest, someone is going to be here rescuing that baby, Beer added. Monica Kelsey, founder of Safe Haven Baby Boxes, shared her personal connection to the cause. Kelsey was abandoned as an infant after her mother, a 17-year-old survivor of a brutal attack, chose to give her up. This is my legacy, she said. I will forever walk with these moms as they choose something safe for their child. And it brings me great pleasure to bring Monica back on the show. It's been over a year, I think, since we've spoken last, but she's here with us right now. And Monica, are you there?
I am here. How are you?
Oh, it's great to have you back on, my friend. And you're doing well, I can see.
We're extremely busy right now. So I don't know if you would call that well or just insane, but blessed is what we try to call it.
It's one blessing after another. Every time I get either a headline that I see myself or somebody from the audience invariably sends me all of the news that you make throughout the year, either because a new baby box has been established in another state or another part of an existing state, and they're just popping up more frequently, or the headlines, the bigger headlines that a child's been saved, a tragedy has been averted and all that. So it's wonderful to hear about this in what is this latest one in Kansas, right?
Yeah, so we just launched in the state of Kansas, but actually tomorrow is the big news. Tomorrow we launch the 300th baby box in the nation. And sometimes I think of that number and I think, oh my gosh, like I never envisioned that it would ever be this big. I mean, I just wanted to save a few babies in the state of Indiana, and now here Christ has me going all over the United States and and in other countries too. We're starting to work with other countries that have a huge abandonment problem, and so we're just truly blessed. I don't even know how else to say it, but we're truly blessed to be doing this work.
Well, yes, and it's a blessing to learn about it and to have you as a friend over here, and it's wonderful, it really is. And there's always more people and new people joining this show in the audience, and this is probably the first time that they've heard of you. So, could you, because we got a little bit of your background in this latest story about the Kansas box, but can you let everybody know how the box? How it's set up, it's operated? People are probably thinking, a baby in a box for even 5 minutes. What does that mean? Is it too cold? Is it too hot? Who gets the baby? Who has access to it? Let everybody know how it all works, please.
Yeah, so when a parent walks up to one of our Safe Haven baby boxes, all she has to do is open the door, place her child inside, unharmed newborn inside, shut the door, and walk away. The box has a series of alarms on it. She doesn't have to do anything. The box is doing all the work for her. There is an alarm on the door. There's an alarm when the baby's placed inside. The door locks on the outside, and then if the baby box loses power, that's another one where the alarm actually notifies 911. But there is a heating unit inside. It's in a climate-controlled space. The average time for babies in our boxes is 2 minutes. And I completely understand, because when I brought this idea to America, the thing that I had to get over the hump with was, what do you mean we're putting babies in boxes? Are we going backwards now? And it's like, no, we are an alternative to a dumpster or a trash can that happens every 3 days in America. I mean, yesterday in San Bernardino, California, there was a dead infant found on a sidewalk. And it's like, you see these stories every few days in America, and you think, why is it still happening in 2024? And so we're trying so hard to get into the communities where these babies are being left, so that, even if we save half of them, just half of them, maybe they'll have a chance like I did.
When was the first box opened again?
So the first box was opened at my fire station. So I'm a retired firefighter and medic, and it was opened at my fire station. And I gotta tell you, it's kind of a funny story, because my husband is the mayor of our city. And so if he wanted to sleep with his wife at night, he was going to say yes to putting a box in that firehouse. And it's kind of the joke around here, but I never thought that this box would ever be used. I just wanted it to be home of Safe Haven baby box #1 in the nation. And this fire station has now had 2 infants. And so we had never had an infant surrender before. We had never had an abandonment in our community. We just put this box there because this is where I'm from and this is where I wanted to start. And now 2 lives have been impacted. Well, actually 4 lives, because not only are we saving babies, but we're also saving their moms, from a lifetime of guilt. If this baby was found in a dumpster or a trash can, this mother would be in prison for the rest of her life, especially if this child died. And so we're literally saving 2 lives every time that we save one.
And what year was that approximately?
That was April of 2016.
26. So here's the thing that's really interesting to me. 2016. You're talking about a baby that is now 8 years old, and I am really. Just like you have your own story, your own backstory, I'm going to be really interested in the years to come to hear about these children who have been given a second chance at life, who are now, getting up there and almost ready to head into middle school. And it's really just incredible that the years are ticking away, and you have all this success and you continue to expand. You said you're going international soon. What's happening?
So we were actually contacted by a young lady from the UK that actually was abandoned on a doorstep. And so with the amount of abandonments that's happening over there, she contacted us and said, how can we bring this to the UK? And so we're trying now to legally do it. There's so many restrictions and so many guidelines, and it's costing a lot of money to get this done. But I'll tell you what, we are dedicated to making sure that no matter where babies are being left, we're going to try and be there to make sure that these moms have an option available so that they don't have to choose something unsafe for their child.
Oh, so let me ask you this. Here's another thing. As far as when time goes on and people grow, and hopefully especially the mothers in distress who feel like they have no other option, obviously giving your baby up for adoption or finding one of these safe haven boxes is better than all alternatives, from abortion to leaving them in garbage cans or in bathrooms, public bathrooms, whatever the hell it is. Obviously better. But when it comes to going down the line and people live out, they get through whatever trauma was going on, if they ever wanted to find their child again, or if the child ever wanted to find their mother, I'm sure that's something that you're going to come across in the next 15 years or so as well, when these children grow up, and some of them are going to be curious about where they came from. You ever consider any kind of, that's going to be just totally up to them to go out there and try to find their parents, or to be able to put the pieces together of their past, their biological past? Or is that something that you would assist them with as well?
Oh, I would assist them with that as well. I mean, being adopted, I know that there's always that want. There's always that, I want to know the story. I want to know why. And so we've actually already had this happen. Surprisingly enough, one of the moms that we had been counseling for many months placed her child in a box. Now, she didn't contact us until after she placed in one of our boxes. And so we try to get them into counseling because we need them to make peace with this so that they can go on. And so she was in our counseling program. Well, then the baby was adopted, and the adoptive parents contact us. And they're like, hey, if you ever know her name or where she's from, we want her to be a part of this little girl's life. And we're like, wait, what? Like, what is happening right now? And so we got a written statement from the biological mother. We got a written statement from the adoptive parents. And this little girl spent her second birthday with both adoptive mom and biological mom. And so even in the midst of tragedy and in the midst of just desperation, she's seen the light. And now she gets to be a part of this little girl's life. And so I hope that we're able to put more families back together, but I want to make sure, though, that we're respecting these moms' wishes.
Yeah.
One thing that I hate is when people say, oh, I could never do that, or why would you do that? Or you should have done this, or you should have done that. And it's like, we shouldn't be judging these women. We shouldn't be shaming them. We should let them choose what is best for them. I am sure that every parent that chooses the baby box has done research. They have looked at an adoption plan. They've probably looked at an abortion. They've probably looked at parenting this child. And this is what they've chose. And that's what they feel is best for them. And so our organization, we support that, we respect that, and we will walk alongside her on her journey, whether she places in our box, whether she parents, whether she surrenders by handoff at a fire station or a hospital, or she does an adoption plan, but as long as it's her choice, we all should be respecting that and being thankful that she made the choice that was best for her and her child.
Yeah, especially because the choice means life. That's a huge thing. You're preserving life. So hey, that's a much better starting point than the alternative. But you're one person though, Monica, that I know of, and I know you have to have help. So though you have a team, you guys can't be everywhere. What would you say to people who hear your story and say, hey, I wish I could help, or I wish I can do something similar? Are you ever have any I don't know, ideas to vet people for, dare I say, franchising in their own state, if it's a state that you can't get to, but they love it so much and they want to be able to help with the expanding of this to make it an option for people? Or I mean, obviously, if you have the 300th box opening up soon, you're doing pretty well on your own, but everybody is looking to put their time into something worthwhile these days and reestablishing purpose, new purpose. So what do you say to people who are intrigued by this and want to volunteer?
contact us. We have a ton of volunteers in states. We call them our boots on the ground. And those are the people that are making it happen. Yeah, you see my face out there, you see some of my staff out there, but truly the people who are making this happen are the people in those states, because they do all the legwork. We're just here providing the resources, providing the direction for them. But we have tons of volunteers in many states. We have this amazing person down in Mississippi that is a registered nurse. Her husband is a PA, and they are now doing blessings for us. And it's because she's got this heart of gold. She wants to help anything that she can do. And so we've put her kind of in a position to where she's really ministering to these moms and helping these locations become engaged. One thing that we always talk about, and I do training. If you follow me on TikTok, I do a ton of training. That's where I feel the most comfortable, and is in a firehouse because of my occupation. But I'll tell you what, we as firefighters, we have hearts of gold, but we get it wrong a lot when we're trying to talk to someone. And a mother that is in crisis, that is walking up with her child and basically saying, I want what's best for my child, and it's not me. Sometimes us as firefighters, we want to help. We want to fix it. And so we go to extremes to try and work this out for this parent. And we're hearing from these parents now where they don't want to walk in for fear that they're going to be talked out of something that took them so long, for a decision that took them so long to make. And so for her to be able to go into these facilities down there in Mississippi now and train them, it's expanded so much that volunteers are really the backbone of Safe Haven Baby Boxes. We have a staff of 11, but you got to remember, Frank, we build the boxes. We got 5 of those people alone, 5 of those people that all they do is build. And so the rest of us then are doing the ministry part of it. And so it's a lot of work, but again, how blessed are we to be doing Christ's work? Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And these are all exclusively at firehouses across the country, or other locations as well?
We only do fire stations and hospitals, because what we're getting in our boxes are newborns. Most of them are with placentas still attached. I mean, these babies are hours old. And so there has to be medical personnel on the other side of that wall. And so at fire stations, you have paramedics, and at hospitals, you have nurses and doctors. And so those are the 2 locations that we will advance into. So,
and obviously I'm not really too familiar with this, but when you say that they still have, umbilical cords and placenta, and then they are just hours old, I'm thinking this is either a home birth or in the back of a car, and it's being done completely off the grid, off the books, just to be able to, get the child taken care of. But I wonder how easy is the surrender process if you just go to a hospital, because I'd have to imagine that many of these women, after giving birth, are going to have to bring themselves to the hospital anyway for some treatment, some care afterwards. I mean, some women have to get sewn up after a delivery and all that. So I just wonder, what is there? Are there extra steps? Is there a lot more of that, like you said, counseling that they don't want to have at a hospital that they're trying to avoid? Why not just surrender at a hospital, you think?
Well, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this might come back to hurt me a little bit, but the reason why women don't go into hospitals is because hospitals have to get your name. Mm-hmm. They want to file insurance, and there's a trail. And unfortunately, the women that we're dealing with, that we're working with, don't want that. Whether they have a CPS case, a Child Protective Services case that's already, for other children that they have, and they don't want to get, back into the system for fear of losing their other kids, or this child may be addicted to drugs and they know that they're going to get in trouble. There's so many different situations. We just helped a mom surrender last week, actually, that was in foster care, that had ran away from a foster home, was living with a friend, gave birth, didn't even know she was pregnant, and then surrendered right after that. And so, every case is different. Every situation is different. But unfortunately, hospitals are not as relaxed as fire stations are. And plus, hospitals have a lot of cameras. And some of these parents just don't want their identity to be known.
So then, and I guess this is a very specialized situation. I don't know if it's happened to you yet, but I have to imagine somewhere down the line, like I said, after a birth, if a mother, let's say a mother was, she had to get stitched up, or maybe there's a slight amount of hemorrhaging or any other physical concern, that is going to force her to go to a hospital. Obviously, any doctor, even if they're just a newbie, is going to see, okay, this woman just gave birth. Where's the child? You ever get any inquiries from or any hospitals doing that kind of investigative work who have maybe talked to a mother that just dropped a child off that actually located you just for out of any kind of wanting to just ascertain the state of the child?
Well, we did have a parent that actually needed medical care after giving birth, and we worked directly with her, got her into it wasn't a hospital, it was a clinic, and we did a lot of legwork in this community a couple of hours prior to her going in to make sure that she could go in, give her name, and be self-pay, which Safe Haven Baby Boxes paid that bill for her, but she didn't give her real name. And so I don't even know if that's ethical. It probably isn't. But, we're protecting these parents. And as long as it's not against the law, we paid the bill. She went in, she got medical care. She accepted the medical care. She signed the agreements and everything. All we did was pay the bill. We got her medical care, though. That was the key thing. And so at the end of the day, if we have to help a mother kind of wiggle around to keep her child safe, keep her safe, and keep herself anonymous, but keep her legal, we're going to do it.
I think that you're over the next 20 years or so, the stories that you're going to collect from people who are affected by this and are going to want to pay it forward are going to be really awesome to hear about. Just going back to what you're saying, the first child saved was 8 years ago. 8 years ago now. I mean, you can have a really in-depth conversation with an 8-year-old. That is a fully formed human being, no doubt about it. So I can't wait to see over the next 10 to 20 years the kinds of people who are going to want to pay it forward because a life was saved or something like that. And I'm going to be here collecting all the stories that you collect, because this is really fun to check in with you every once in a while, Monica. It really is. What are you doing for Christmas?
Well, hopefully nothing. My family is here. My dad passed away a few years ago, so my mom is still around. And so we have Christmas here at our home. I took this week off work, so I'm on vacation this week, which is so nice to just be at home and do nothing. Because I'm on the road, 5, 7, 9 days at a time. And sometimes you just need to peel the layers back and sit back and let others do the work for a little while you kind of gather yourself and put yourself back together. And so this week is kind of what I'm doing in that aspect. And then next week, of course, is Christmas. So, and then the new year, and we actually start our podcast, and I'd love for you to be a guest on mine. It's called Beyond the Box with Monica Kelsey. I don't even know where we hired somebody to kind of help us with this. And so I don't know where it's going to be or anything, but it'll take off in January. And I'm super excited about it because I have a big mouth. I mean, you know this, and I have a lot of haters. You know this too. You had some of my haters contacting you, telling you how bad I was. And so for me to be able to get out there and just voice who I am and what we do and why we do it and give truth to the lives of these kids I think is just going to be a pivotal thing for us in 2025. Well,
you got a lot of people that pay attention to your work, all types of news media, local and regional governments and all that stuff. And what we as audience members and all that ever see is just there's more wonderful examples of your work popping up and people who are, now having an option to save lives instead of continue on this path of disposing of life. So I'm really happy you came back to give us this update, especially in the middle of such of a joyous and anticipatory time of the year. And I can't wait for what comes in 2025. So that before you leave, let everybody know exactly where they should go to read about your organization, how they can volunteer and everything else.
So they can go to our website. It's SHBB. So it just stands for Safe Haven Baby Boxes, shbb.org. You can just Google Safe Haven Baby Boxes. Our largest platform is on TikTok. That's where all my training videos are for first responders. So if you're a first responder that is able to take an infant under Safe Haven, go to the TikTok channel. You're going to learn a lot. And also on Facebook too. But I can't wait to see what 2025 does for us. And hopefully, Frank, you'll bring me back in 2025 with an update. And maybe, just maybe, we can have one of those babies you and I talked about last time on the show with their adoptive parents, so that your audience can see what I fight for every day.
That would be wonderful. And until that day happens, just keep doing your wonderful work and have a blessed Christmas, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Take care. There's Monica Kelsey, Safe Haven Baby Boxes. So go check it out. Haven't spoken to her in a while. And of course, the work never ends. So, all right, let's take a little bit of a break. When we come back from intermission, which will be short, we're going to take your calls. Maybe we'll get into, one or two other nice news headlines. See what the hell you guys are feeling, how you're talking. I mean, how you've been talking amongst yourselves. I'll just, jump into some chat rooms and see what's up. And yeah, the second half is ours. Then we'll go into a little bit of a, is it a LARP? Is it not? The nuke hunt, the UFO nuke hunt. We'll do that in the second half too. Maybe in the last half hour or so, because there's plenty to discuss here. I'm sure there's wonderful stories to be told from you guys in the audience. We had testament of, again, that last night. So, BRB, thank you so much.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Turning, quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly, guys.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
So everybody watch. Quite frankly.
What dare you?
All right. Let me get these phones all ready. See who calls in and what we're going to be talking about. That was nice. Good stuff. All right, first one up. We got Stowstube. On Quite Frankly, superchat.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you can have your thoughts shared on the air right now. Quite Frankly, superchat.com. Stowstube says, Frank, we meet again. Always a pleasure to catch a live listen, my good man. Shout out to all the Franklies and Franciscans always. Well, I just opened up a Christmas card from Stowstube today. Beautiful family, absolutely beautiful. Got when I go to the P.O. box, the people working at the P.O. box said, oh, Frank, you got another packed P.O. box. Especially this time of year, every 3 days filled. I feel like Santa Claus. It's just amazing. Just everybody saying happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Just seeing everybody's families and people talking. I had a great letter over here today. I actually brought it because I wanted to read it. A couple from Florida that were very gracious, and the I forgot which of them. I have the letter over there. I got chewed out for using Crest toothpaste or admitting that when we were on the health retreat in Martha's Vineyard, and they sent me 5 tubes of this new toothpaste. So, all right. What do you want me to say? I got new toothpaste today. I'll read that letter because it's wonderful. At some point, I'll read it. I also have some other things here. But let's see. Over on Rumble, we have a ranter. The Hillbilly Deluxe says, and this bear story is why I hunt white-tailed deer. Deer can't climb trees. You know, I should talk to my cousins about this. They're big black bear hunters. They go upstate and into Canada. I wonder if they're watching right now. So there's that. But can you imagine having a bear right above you and all of a sudden it just lights out? It's like 300 pounds. I don't know how big it is. Sean Joe, thank you so much. Sean Joe says, this is from on quitefrankly.tv under the gold pills. Frank, the Yankees just signed Cody Bellinger. Yes, I saw that. A little lopsided in favor of the Yankees. I don't get it. The Cubs gave Bellinger to the Yankees with $5 million, and all they took was Cody Poteet, who was actually serviceable this year. I think he made like 3 or 4 spot starts. Not bad, but Cody Bellinger, he'll be playing center field, I think. Now they got to go get at least 3 more bats. Need a first baseman, left fielder, and third baseman. Let's see, what else do we have? Shaquille Oatmeal is back and says, Merry Christmas, Frank. Here's to another year of brilliant, up-to-date, humorously, sincerely explained news. Thank you. Why, thank you. Thank you, my good sir. Boys Blanc says, I was 18 in the back seat driving to the university with 2 girls in the front seat. I woke up to the car swerving and the girls screaming. I was sleeping with my eyes open. LOL. Sorry, spit out my story refilled. They were screaming because you were sleeping with your eyes open? They were swerving because you were sleeping with your eyes open? Wait, what was the cause of it? Because, well, I don't know. So it's like wide open then. Damn. What are you going to do? You got to tape your eyes closed. You wake up, your eyes are like raisins. It's awful. They gave my mom like special drops and they said that she has to wear some kind of a mask and that'll keep her eyes closed. Just gonna, like, I would put clothespins on my eyelids. That makes me feel, I'm going to do the rest of this show with my eyes closed. All right, next up. Can't do it. Sean Joe, thank you, Gambera and C. Blanche. Hey, you want to take a look at something I think is really cool? This was sent to me today. Nick Shirley, our friend Nick Shirley, he's got about 325,000 subscribers now. He covers the migrant crisis. He goes all over the world. He does his thing. Well, he was just in New Orleans today. He was streaming about 5 hours ago. And someone said, Frank, your boy Nick Shirley was just live in New Orleans. You go to the 42-minute mark. Well, I did. And you're not going to believe what happened. Let's watch it together.
Awesome. Hey, thank you guys very much. Have a good rest of your day. Wow.
Represent Detroit.
Representing Detroit out here.
Straight up.
We like
City
Detroit.
Club.
City Club. Hey, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, everybody. Best of luck. Nice to meet y'all. Go ahead, subscribe. Y'all can catch yourself. Nick Shirley, by the way. Yes, sir. How you doing? Oh, look at you. How you doing, sir?
I've been following you ever since you were on Quite Frankly.
Really?
Quite Frankly.
Yes,
show.
we love
Yeah.
Frank. We love Frank.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Frankly fan.
That's awesome.
Who the hell is this? Whoever the hell this is, please reach out to me. A random Frankly just sitting around on the street, having a smoke.
You know what I saw?
Is it a smoke? No smoke.
Streaming in Houston yesterday, and I was thinking.
Well, what do you know? Isn't that fantastic? And look, there's a couple people in the chat room saying Frank. Oh, it's BMGK is in there. So that's nice. That's nice. Can you imagine all the people I would meet if I left the house? So maybe one day. But that's it. A random Frankly out there in New Orleans. And whoever you are, sir, please get in touch with the show. I'm going to send you something. You're going to get a wooden coin and God knows what else. All right. Let's take a moment to... Hold on. Do I get all this out of the way? All right. 914. We're going to open this up. I'll look at that in just a second. I have one more big story, good story for you that I'll just throw out there. Well, we have one here of a woman who was looking for her birth parents and learns that her dad was actually a friend of hers on Facebook. Has to be all DNA again. A woman in Eastern Europe has found her biological father after suddenly discovering that she was adopted from birth. Moreover, her search eventually landed him at her virtual doorstep on Facebook, where the two had been friends for 3 years. It all began in 2016. Tamuna Mezuridzi was going through her personal effects of a woman whom she once thought was her mother. Among them, she found a birth certificate with her name on it, but the wrong date. A journalist by trade, Tamuna began to wonder if she were adopted or perhaps a victim of child trafficking ring in her home country of Georgia. After doing some research, she set up a Facebook group called Vedzeb, or I'm Searching, in beautiful Georgian language. Time passed, and eventually someone from rural Georgia messaged her on the social media platform saying that on the off chance it might help Tamuna's search, she knew a woman who had concealed a pregnancy and traveled to the capital of Tbilisi. You know, you wouldn't be able to do it either unless you were from there, okay? In September of 1984, a month of Tamuna's birth. So, I mean, that could be it. The message included a name, but didn't exist on social media, so Tamuna posted as far as her virtual words could carry. Did anyone know this woman? As it turned out, someone did, and they reached out saying if Tamuna would agree to take the post down for privacy's sake, she would take a DNA test in sync with Tamuna. The name was a stranger's aunt, and the DNA test confirmed the two women were cousins. It wasn't long before she found the name of her biological father as well. The first 2 months were shocking. I couldn't believe these things were happening to me, Tamuna told the BBC. I couldn't believe I had found them. Gergen Korava, from a rural village in western Georgia, had been following Tamuna's work as a journalist, and the two had been friends on Facebook for 3 years. He didn't even know my birth mother had been pregnant, said Tamuna. It was a huge surprise for him. Can you imagine that? Been following some journalists, you like their work, you keep up with them, then all of a sudden they reach out to you, or the trail stops with you. You're her father. That's incredible. Really, really crazy. Okay, let's take some calls. 914-200-0269, 914-200-0269. First one is, we haven't heard from this guy in a while. King, how you doing, man?
Hey, the joke's on you, not Anthony, because running beside bicycle is how I got shredded. That was my secret.
I know. The thing was,
you didn't know that, did you?
See, the thing was, Anthony, we told Anthony that he would be ripped by the end of the day. That's the thing. that was. We told him.
It didn't take me long neither.
That's good. King's been posting his progress, everybody, on his Instagram and elsewhere, and he's getting ripped and in shape. It's been a wonderful transformation, hasn't it?
It has, and I think my YouTube channel might be in danger of being taken down because just before the show, I posted a MAGA dance video shirtless. And I think that might be a little bit too much fantasticness for YouTube to handle. And chicks, get all of yourselves. I know it's going to be pandemonium once you see it.
What? Did you get a strike for real, or you think this might? No,
I'm fucking around.
I was gonna say a shirtless dance.
I'm just busting on you. They ain't gonna get taken down. It's probably gonna be like one hit.
That's it. No, you're gonna get millions on that one. That's going to be the thing that saves the culture.
Yeah, I could only hope.
Yeah. well, dude, thanks for calling. Anything else you want to leave us with?
Nah, I just wanted to come in and bust a little balls. That's all.
All right, man. Well, we'll talk soon then.
Yes, sir.
There you go. There's Santino off doing his thing, and what a transformation. Good for him. Good for him. All right, let's see. Number one. 914-200-0269. It's one of those things where the lines are open. You could bring what you'd like, but we haven't really talked a lot of politics tonight. So, aside from the Liz Cheney thing, but that's part of the good news category. So if you have any good news stories or anything that you think would be a wonderful story to tell, that'd be nice for tonight. 813, you're on the air. Who's this?
Shaquille O'Neal. I didn't expect to get in, honestly.
Hello, is this Sean?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Hello.
Remember my name.
Oh, well, actually.
So you guys were talking about bikes. So a Christmas story. My brother Travis and I got bikes for Christmas, and I don't know, it was like, when did the N64 come out? Well, regardless. Zelda's Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, my brother and I got that game for Christmas, and we got bikes. It was like, the green and black fucking Jurassic Park themed. And we rode down the road. It was like a big plot. So we're in Tampa. So like Swanee, Florida Avenue, Hillsborough Avenue. And we had the sky's the limit, as a child. So, and we're in this cul-de-sac, and we're riding our bikes, and we're going around, and I hit a fucking slab of sand, fucking eat shit, fucking down for the count. My brother, like, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm fucking, I'm all messed up, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, just go." And he fucking just rode off, went back home, and I wake up, it's it's sunset. And I'm walking this.
You were wait. So you actually were unconscious there for hours.
Hours. So to be fair, like I was pretty pissed off because I just got hurt, and he just left me there, and I'm walking this dilapidated bike. It was all fucked up, like bent front wheel, and I'm walking this bike back. I'm like, look like a zombie survivor, and I'm walking this bike back. I finally get back. I walk in. Travis is my brother. He's playing Ocarina of Time. I walk past him, like belly up, just playing on a tube, a CRT, and I walk up, and my dad doesn't see me yet, and my stepmom sees me, and I'm all my face, my knees, everything, and she's like, "Oh my God!" And so now I'm being cleaned up. And, this is probably, I don't know, like I was 10 years old or something. And yeah, that was interesting. But the happy ending, the Christmas story is both of us had bikes. Mine was completely fucked up, but to this day, that is my best friend,
Yeah, well, I was going to say, there is one thing that you can't blame him for is going home. I mean, you told him to go home. Now, the other thing...
No. Well, I said, yeah, I guess. You know what?
I mean, aside from that, it's one thing to say, go save yourself. But it's another thing for him to not go.
Don't tell Dad.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the one thing that you can't explain is why he wouldn't tell anybody that you were really hurt, and he just started playing Zelda instead. So that was.
I think it's kind of crazy thinking back on that with you as the mediator. Is I didn't tell him to not tell what happened, but the real question is, why didn't anyone ask where I was at?
Yeah, where did he? Where was he? Where's your brother? Well, I hope that you guys have a laugh about that next week when you get together for Christmas, and tell me all about it, please.
Oh, absolutely, man. Hey, continue doing great content. I never miss it. This is the first like a couple months I've actually been able to catch you live. But thank you, Frank, again, for continuing to do what you do.
Well, this is that you don't ever have to thank me, but I really appreciate it.
But I do, man.
Okay.
Thank you. Seriously.
Well, thank you, because this is great. And getting calls like that, I mean, I get secondary feelings on that one because I know those types of situations. And then the best part is reminiscing with the people involved, because it just starts taking on like romantic levels of hilarity over the years. I don't know why, but it's those laughs are so therapeutic when you think back at it. But that's funny because that's just like the opposite. That's just like go save yourself kind of a thing. Whereas we were going, and Anthony was just straggling behind, begging for us not to go. I'm not going to make it. And we're just laughing as he's struggling because it's funny. It was melodramatic. All right, let's take a call. 817, you're on the air. Go ahead.
So I'm going to go the other way and say that, can you get off the air? I hate your show. I do not want to thank you. What's up, dude? It's Bill.
How you doing, Brian?
I got multiple numbers. You know, you're never gonna know where I'm coming at.
Well,
So-
your name pops up. Thankfully, some people's
What?
names.
Shit.
Yeah, some people's names pop up, and it helps me out. And other people, you know, it's just numbers, and I wish I could store it, but I can't.
Yeah. How you been, dude?
I'm doing all right.
Good?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all
Right on.
right. Yeah. How's the
Cool.
end? How's the tail end of your year going?
Dude, it's all right, man. You know, it's the slow season, so it's really, to be honest, December I don't do jack shit, have to do anything. So
A lot of people
yeah.
are that way. You know, especially
playing a lot of music and stuff like that. I'm setting up a little recording studio, so it'll be cool. But a couple things. How about the Eagles? You love that, huh?
Well, what are they in first place? I don't even know. I check out when I see I can assess the Cowboys on week 1, and I check out right then. I'll know that this is another lost year, and I just
no, exactly, because the Cowboys fans are fair weather.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. There's a difference between fair weather and knowing that this is not going to be fun at all. I'll watch football.
Drinky.
You know, it'll be Sunday. People will be over. If nothing's going on, there'll be a game on. I'll appreciate the athleticism of it. I'll appreciate I'll watch the game. But if I know that I'm going to be poisoned with hatred, I get poisoned by this stuff. Like I even have to pick and choose. If the Yankees are doing really bad, where it's not even watchable, I'll give myself a break for a couple of days until they at least become mediocre
I
again.
got you.
So
No, I got you. Dude, so I was going to ask you a couple of. This is a very random question. What do you think about Social Security and people our age?
I wish that people out, like I would like to take care of our parents and maybe a half a generation after them. And by the time it gets, I would just love to get a rebate for at least 10 years worth of our contributions of the theft. And I don't expect this to be. First of all, it's meager. It is ridiculous what they give people. The fact that this is supposed to be like something held in trust, and I mean, I wish that there was money that the government was benevolent enough to have in a very special savings account for me every penny that they had taken from me mandatory since I was 15 years old. I wish that was there. I check it all out right now, and I put it into an account of my own that I can control and do something else with it that'll actually do something. But I want it gone. But I understand. I wouldn't. Something like that would have to be sunsetted because there are people who are. I mean, we're talking about systems that are not good. They're not beneficial. But if you take them away all at once, we're talking about millions of people dying. You know, I mean, we're talking about mass death.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I mean my thing on it is it's like, I mean, you know that, I mean, you and I are roughly the same age, and like we all the money we pay them, we're not seeing that. The funds are gone when we turn 65. So that's the thing too. But obviously it's not like, oh, just stop paying it, because that's going to affect people. But there will be nothing for us when we get to that age.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
And ultimately, dude, I'm fine with it as long as everything that's being taken from us right now while we're still working is not taken. I mean, just something's got to give. I'm okay with them not kicking up, $2,500 to $3,600 to me every month, because if we are
not even that.
but think about it. If we in our 30s, and now I'm about to turn 40. If we even had these last few decades of our viability in the workplace to just put our money into something that we can control, I mean, it'd work out so much better than this shit.
Yeah, definitely. Last thing I was going to ask you, dude. So, what is one of your top three, not all the three, what is one of your top three childhood memories that is just sticks in your fucking mind?
I don't know.
Yeah, Frankie.
I don't know.
Trying to make this about you, man. All right, dude. Turn this show off. I hate this show.
I don't know. That's something that's the kind of question I don't know. Those are things that pop up over time. Like something triggers it,
Well, you know what I've noticed about Northeast and the New York, and I'll get off after this, is specifically New York, well, New Jersey too and stuff, is the specific type of Christmas is such like a homey type of warmth, and like also like the music, the old school music, you know?
Yeah.
Not many people listen to that old school type of stuff outside of like the Northeast. So,
well, you know, when you talk about standards, especially like the old, I mean, the 40s, 30s, 40s,
Yeah.
50s, and 30s and 40s and 50s are just, when you talk about those standard crooner type Christmas ballads and all that stuff, I mean, it has a very metropolitan feel to it. You're thinking about, you know, Bing Crosby and, you know, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and smoky city lounges, and, you know, there's a coziness to it, but it's a very, very, it's a period piece kind of a thing. It's putting you in a time and a place, and it's very metropolitan. So I can see how in other parts of the country, because we know that, I mean, country Christmas music is gigantic, and that is probably a lot more prevalent in people's, you know, a lot more strong in people's playlists in the Midwest and the South and things like that. So that's actually an interesting topic right there about, you know, what is popular this time of year in different parts of the country, because I'm sure not everybody's listening to what I'm listening to.
yeah, no, for sure. Right on, man. Well, it's good to talk to you. I'm going to go do some cool shit because that's what I do. I do cool shit all the time. So take it easy, buddy.
I'll talk to you soon, Brian.
You have a good night.
Take
All right,
care.
bye, peace.
There's Doughboy, everybody. Hanging out, doing his thing, doing cool shit. Okay, let's take a really quick break. When we come back, I'm just going to throw this missing radioactive material thing out to you guys, and then we're going to take more of your calls to end the show. I want to give away this round of copper, and there you have it. Okay, don't go anywhere.
This drone does not have rights. You understand that?
Howdy, friend. You looking for a message board? Go to quitefrankly.tv and enter the forum. Engage with official show topic threads or start your own thread. Get signed up. It's that easy. And it's not Reddit, so don't sweat it. For the forum and so much more, it's quitefrankly.tv. Yeehaw.
Oh, Mrs. Shirley, we got your Christmas card the other day, and my family and I are very flattered that you remembered us. Corporate cards.
Don't forget that report, Bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. Kiss your ass. Happy Hanukkah.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's just take a listen to this. I'm going to tie a couple of things together for you, just so we can put it on the record, since we've, you know, had a little bit of the drone thing as it progressed. So as long as the whole timeline is complete, we're not going to obsess over it too much. And here you go. First one up. Missing radioactive material in New Jersey sparks drone theories. They are looking for something, the mayor says. This is from the New York Post. This is the New York Post. Oh, Roseanne Barr getting some attention for talking about Project Bluebeam. Oh, and Adam Kinzinger, who is a complete bedwetting idiot. Oh, God, I can't stand him. Big fat face. He looks like a sea monkey. You remember that Saturday morning cartoon or whatever the hell it was? The sea monkeys had these gigantic, round, bulbous faces. That's what Adam Kinzinger looks like, especially when he presses his lips together and his cheeks puff out. Him and that other puffer fish bastard. That puffer fish fuck. Oh, I was trying not to say the F word. That puffer fish bastard freak. Adam Schiff with his apple cheeks. This has nothing to do with anything. Anyway, a New Jersey mayor warned on Tuesday that troubling drone sightings over the state may be linked to missing radioactive material, although federal officials say the amount poses no serious threat either way. Belleville Mayor Michael Melham said that the drones flying in grid-like pattern over his Essex County township appear to be looking for something. What they might be looking for, we don't know. Maybe that's radioactive material, Melham told Fox TV's Good Day New York. It was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and it was empty, Melham said. U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission issued an alert earlier this week regarding a piece of medical equipment used for cancer scans that was lost in transit December 2nd while being shipped from NASA Cancer Center. Notcha Cancer Center, imagine that. In Newfield in Gloucester. So that right there, I've seen that come up. People of community noted it, saying that there's something like this is just not, it has minimal radioactive material when you're talking about these kind of scans. But that hasn't stopped the theorizing that it might be something else. Here's a little bit another piece from Good Day New York. So this is the New Jersey mayor, Michael Melham from Belleville. Take a listen to what he said, straight from the horse's mouth.
Information has not been forthcoming, and it's this lack of transparency, in my opinion, that's doing nothing but fueling conspiracy theories online.
Do you have any idea what it could be? Or which side it could be, where it's coming from?
Yeah, I can tell you what it's not. We know for a fact it's not little green men, and more than likely it's not a foreign adversary, because they would be able to figure out how to turn off the blinking lights. These drones are huge. We had a mayor yesterday on the call with the White House telling them that he had 6-foot drones hovering over his house, yet they continue to tell us we don't know what we're talking about. It's misidentification. Certainly there's some misidentification probably going on, but I could assure you that we are seeing drones in New Jersey all over the place.
All right, so Bethany Frankel, I know she's not like, the New York Times, but she says that she has like some kind of contact at the Pentagon and that it has something to do with radioactive material in New Jersey. What are you hearing?
So here's what I know. I know that we were told by our state police that we have assets over our critical infrastructure. Now, depending on your point of view, that's either concerning or comforting. I think it's comforting because it's probably us listening and watching. We also know that we have drones that are flying in a grid-like pattern. In my opinion, they're looking for something. What might they be looking for? Well, potentially, we're aware of a threat that came in through Port Newark. Maybe that's radioactive material. There was and there is an alert that's out right now that radioactive material in New Jersey has gone missing on December 2nd. It was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and was empty. So
okay,
potentially
wait,
we're looking
stop
for
right
that.
there, Mayor, because that's very important information. And that came from a credible source.
That came from the U.S. government.
And so it's missing?
Missing.
And they think it's in New Jersey, or it could be anywhere?
It was lost in New Jersey, in transit. And again, this is just an example of what I think that we're sniffing for. I think we do have the assets that can go up and fly around and sniff things, which is why we're not seeing the uptick we used to see in Belleville anymore. It's kind of moving, but we're seeing alerts that it's happening now in Pennsylvania.
And that.
So what do you think? Moving around looking for something. Obviously, it's a big operation being controlled from the top. We're being fed bullshit, as we know. It is nothing intergalactic. It's nothing interdimensional. So just what is it? Didn't see any of this when that train of, what was the explosives? How many tons of explosives that were on the West Coast that just went missing? Never heard anything else about it. Nobody even cares looking for that. That's just as good as a nuke. So there's the one thing. People started pondering whether or not this was a search and recovery mission that was being kept on the low. And then in came all of the nuke talk, and then we got Good Morning New York and everything else. And it kind of started, corroborating, well, maybe not corroborating, but supporting it, lending credence to the overall theory there. And that is what triggered somebody from saying, hey, I remember a thread on 4chan from 2022. I remember this thread. And what was the top of it? let's see here. What was the some people spent, no, hold on, wait. I want to know what it was on poll. Let's see. Welcome the raddest place. No, well, I want to know what the thread title was, but it's not there. Anyway, somewhere down the thread, one of those classic, this is, I'm giving you what I know kind of intel drops. Anonymous, of course. Usually a LARP. Anything. Anyway, this was back in May of 2022. And it's all verifiable. I have the link here. It's a real thing. We've read it before. I'm not sure if we did it on this show, though. And here's how it reads. There's a few paragraphs, so take a listen to it. Again, this is not real. This is not intel. This is just a 4chan post. But it's a couple of years ago, and just you judge it for yourself. What kind of insight does this person have? What game are they trying to play? Anonymous says the next false flag will be centered on the premise of malicious interdiction of nuclear source materials. It will not involve a nuclear device or nuclear detonation, but rather a radiological threat. Nuclear source materials will be deliberately leaked to target areas to inflict severe injuries through radiation exposure. The real number of casualties as a result of these attacks will remain very low. The purpose is to create a new method of restricting freedom of movement and new policies that will enable the government to continue its expansion of power. The media will display images of attack survivors who will have burns and lesions across their skin, videos depicting overwhelming triage centers with victims vomiting or otherwise unresponsive will be shared on social media. The threat of radiation exposure, an invisible enemy, will be used as the primary vector. An application modeled after COVID contact tracing will be installed on every mobile device that uses iOS or Android. This application will serve to notify the user about potential hazardous exposure and recommend actions that they should take, which include voluntary exposure testing. Additionally, cellular carriers will roll out automated SMS alerts that will have similar functionality. This application will interface directly with the UICC on mobile devices. So it goes into real deep things. As you provide more and more, minute details, and suddenly somebody screen captures it and says, "I'm saving this for." This is just for safekeeping. I'm going to keep it on the back burner. See what did this actually, how does it shake out? So I don't know. The perpetrator will not, they say at the bottom, will not be an Islamic affiliated group or evil incel domestic terrorist. It will have no relevancy to the ongoing Ukraine conflict, but in the fact that this is still going on out there. Of course, it's just 2022. They've already turned Ukraine into, it's going to be 3 years soon. It's incredible. But the blame will fall on all of these groups. The fog of war will surround information relating to the origin, and this will be intentional. The real attacks will be psychological. Fear will be exploited, just like with the manufactured response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, and, severe disruptions of internet and all that. That's what's going around right now. And I don't know. It's up to you guys. What do you want to talk about? There's that you can comment on. We've got 24 minutes left. I have another wonderful story I'd love to do. And I'm going to open up the lines once again. 914-200-0269. And we'll just take some more of your calls. What I'm going to say is the 25th caller, because we have 24 minutes left. The 25th caller is the one who's going to get the copper round tonight. Let's take a call. 484, you're on the air. All topics are on the table. Go ahead.
Hey, what up? It's AK.
Hey, AK. How you been?
I'm good. Last night you had a topic about if you're abducted by the aliens and they probed you, does that make you gay?
No. I didn't even get into the probing. I just said, do UFOs have the capability of turning a person gay? I guess probing could be one of those methods.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I guess they could. But I actually wanted to ask another question that nobody ever wants to talk with me about. So I'm just going to put it out there on the airwaves. Okay, remember how Madison Cawthorn said that he was invited to all those sex parties in Congress and shit?
Yep.
Okay, so if a person is paralyzed from the waist down, and they go to those parties and they do butt stuff, but they can't feel it. Is that gay?
Yes. Yes.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it gay if you like it, or is it? I don't know.
I think if you just offer up your body willingly for something like that, you're just like, go, even if you can't feel it, you're like, go ahead, use me. I can't feel it anyway. I mean, that doesn't make it better. You don't get a pass for doing that just because. But I wonder.
It's not gay. I can't feel it.
I'm not gay. I can't feel it. You can use me, bro. No, you just that does not pass. Sorry, that's not real. That doesn't. That falls very short. Falls very short. But I don't know. I don't know if he's gone into because I think that had come up around the time when he said that. Listen, when he spoke to that, and I remember when Kathy O'Brien came on around the time that those headlines were getting out there, and I said, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think that both Republicans and Democrats are coming after Madison Cawthorn to tell him to shut up about this and that it's all not true? And I said, this is kind of like a cross-party line, kind of a denouncement over here. And she said, the only party lines that exist in Washington, D.C. are cocaine lines. And I said, yes, I get it there. But then, of course, the next thing that I've seen many people ask around there is, okay, so they asked him to come to some of their soirees. What would he have even been able to perform? Because nobody knew the extent of his injuries, and I forget what the questions were. What the answers to that was. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I don't think feeling would be a very big determining factor of whether or not butt stuff would be gay.
Well, see, my thought was that, like, I guess it would make you gay if you liked it, but I don't know. I guess if you can't feel it, you can't like it. I don't know. But anyway, speaking of debauchery, did you hear that 50 Cent was on Flagrant yesterday, and he said that J-Lo was the female celebrity that was the unnamed female celebrity that was in that 13-year-old Jane Doe's lawsuit against the one that brought in Jay-Z, claiming that Jay-Z and Diddy raped her at the same time, and that there was an unnamed female celebrity watching.
Really?
Totally
no, I didn't.
Threw J-Lo under the bus.
Wait, when did he say that? That was today?
He was on Flagrant yesterday. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, to think that these people, especially Jennifer Lopez, she was one of the people that was out there stumping for Kamala Harris, playing the morality card.
Mm-hmm.
Playing them around. Why would 50 say that if it's not true? I mean, you open yourself.
And speaking of, he was one of the people that was actively seeking to buy some of them tapes too. Like, remember you said that Baldwin guy was saying that there was like a bidding war in Hollywood.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me ask you this, since you're on the line, and I know that you pay attention to a lot of that stuff. Where is the Diddy stuff? In a legal way, where is that? Like, where are there tapes? If
apparently, I mean that's like word on the street.
That's what I'm just saying. If he's being dug into right now, and the walls are closing in, wouldn't all that stuff in his property be already in possession of investigators and everything else? I mean, who would you, if you're Daniel Baldwin, if you're saying what he said yesterday about there being a bidding war to be able to acquire any kind of tapes that you may be on, which is ridiculous because all that stuff is it makes it sound like they're all VHS first of all. And and like not in digital formats and not duplicated and triplicated and all that other stuff. Like, who would you even go and offer the money to? The police? Like, who's in possession of all the stuff that supposedly exists? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I don't have any idea. I mean, I can guess that it would be like corrupt cops that were selling it, and somehow it had like an in, and wanted to make some side money, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, obviously the FBI has it, and we'll see if they'll do something about it or not, but probably not. They'll probably just use that to like, force other celebrities to like stand for politicians.
Well, you know what you got to do for me? If you can find the clip of 50 Cent doing, saying what he said, or at least intimate, you said he just straight out said it's J-Lo?
Oh, yeah, I clipped it yesterday. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the Gilded.
Send it to me, because I would love to hear it, and I love to keep an eye and an ear out for her response or her legal representation, because I'm sure she's lawyered up now if she hasn't been for months, because you're that close. Yep. So that this is going to be really interesting. 2025. Keep thinking about Cat Williams.
Ben Affleck totally got out of there just in the nick of time.
Yeah, I know. Incredible. Okay, well, send that my way. I can't wait to see it, and thanks for the call.
Okay. All right. Bye.
There you go. AK injecting her own little flavor into the show. The Madison Cawthorn question that everybody was wondering keeps us up at night. All right, let's see. 707, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. A couple of quick points. Social Security.
Yes.
How many people now are dying and they don't have a spouse to give their Social Security to? I mean, so we're getting a lot of extra money coming from that. Also, book club. Oh, man, I just got a copy of The Big Fisherman on Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't know how old this hard copy is, but it's got the old brown pages. Oh, my gosh, so beautiful.
Nice. I haven't gotten anything yet, but that's awesome. So you bought it used then?
Yeah, I had no idea where it was coming from. I just looked for a hard copy on Amazon.
Jeez.
But I got a Christmas Angel story for you.
Okay, let me hear it.
So like 4 years ago, I lived with my ex-wife and my daughter. And my ex-wife has cancer, and at the time I didn't have a car, so I was driving her car. At the time I had like a little bit of cold, so I didn't want to drive her car. So I want to get a Christmas tree. I always get a Noble for I decorate it. So I'm going to go to the store. And I'm like, there's a store a couple blocks away. I'm like, wait a minute. They don't have Christmas trees. I have to go to this other store. It's like 2 miles away. So I start walking to the store. I pick up the Noble for like 6 foot tall. I'm walking it home, dragging it. I'm alongside this golf course, and all of a sudden, my arms are like jelly. I mean, I can't move another foot. I look over, and there's this girl at this golf course, and she has one of those wagons, radio flyer wagon.
Yeah.
And I look over at her like pleading, and she goes, "Oh, do you need some help?" And so she comes over with her wagon. We put the tree in the wagon, and we go like 1.5 miles still to my house, and she helps me take it all the way home. And on the way home, we're talking. She has this wagon because her brother is homeless, and he leaves all this stuff in his wagon, and people are always stealing his wagon. So during the day, she'll go get his wagon, take it home, and then bring it back to him. And we're talking. She's got she used to have problems with depression. I'm talking, my daughter has these problems with depression. We're talking about this and that. And it's like, she was just my Christmas angel that just showed up at the right time. It was amazing.
That is. And that's a long way to so you were, that's a long way. What were you saying? Maybe I missed that part of the story again. So you were walking to the Christmas tree lot and you were going to walk back with it?
Yeah. Like 2 miles. Yeah.
I mean,
but I got less than halfway there and my arms were just like jelly. And I look over and here's this girl with this wagon.
That was a dude
that's to my place. And,
pretty ambitious.
I gave her a little bit of money because she was going to go shopping, and it was just a great experience. Amazing, Christmas miracle.
It sounds like it when those people just show up and out
of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, absolutely. With a radio flyer wagon at that. Yeah. But again, I just can't get over how ambitious that is to say, okay, I'm going to go to the Christmas tree lot. It's about 2 miles away. I'm going to pick up you said a 6 foot tree?
Yeah, it's a noble fir. I've always decorated my Christmas tree since I was a little kid. And it's something I do. I got a lot of old ornaments and stuff, Well, I'm not as great as your dad, but,
Well, I guess if you had a little bit, if it was wrapped up, if it was a wrapped up tree, and if you had one other person to sling it over their shoulder, and you're just kind of, I guess that wouldn't be too bad. It can't be that much, but on your own, that's a bulky piece of lumber to carry for 2 miles on your own.
Yeah, and this girl just showed up out of nowhere. It was amazing.
Have you seen her ever since then, or did you ever see her after?
I haven't, because I work at this, sorry, I work at one of those giant lot stores, and she says she shops there, so I thought I would see her at some point, but I still haven't. She never said hi or anything. She has gone in there.
Well, there you have it. Maybe she was an angel. That's like straight out of a Hallmark film right there. Thanks for the call, Robert.
All right, man. Thanks. Peace.
All right. Take care. That's Robert, everybody. And he's a great contributor, one of many great contributors to the book clubs. I don't think he's ever missed one. And always gives wonderful, in-depth analysis of all of the chapters that we read in the official threads when we publish those. That's a great thing. It's a great thing that we have people out there chilling with us like that. All right. 512, you're on the air. Is this Robert Phoenix?
Yeah, Frank, it is. What's happening, my friend?
What's going on? You know, we have a few minutes left here. I just wanted to ask you, it's great that you called in. How are you assessing all of this drone stuff? Because obviously it's more so the parapolitical the parapolitical reality of it is the most important thing. What is the purpose and what are you taking away from it? Any synchronicities? Throw it my way. I can give you like 3 minutes.
Well, you know, I think it's real interesting that it's happening in New Jersey, where, of course, Orson Welles' War of the Worlds on the Mercury Theater took place and caused a great deal of hysteria and panic. So I find that to be quite interesting. And I saw the piece from 4chan, which I talked about today as well. And I think there's a there. You know, I think that they're looking for another thing, another excuse to lock us down and then bring us, psychological fear more than anything else. And, you know, we're in this time with Pluto and Aquarius, and, you know, things are strange. They're off the beaten path, and it's just going to get weirder, right? And when you get into things like radioactivity, you're getting into uranium. Of course, Uranus rules Aquarius, and plutonium is in the conversation, and we're talking about Pluto. So all this stuff is literally in the air, since Aquarius is an air sign. So I find that all that interesting. In 1946, you know, they had that supernovae that happens once every 81 years. And it's these dwarf giants. And when it happened in February of 1946, all these crazy things went off, like Bikini Atoll, and basically the atomic age starts, you know, on the backside of this thing. And then in 1947, all the UFO stuff starts coming in, Kenneth Arnold, and then we have Roswell. So I think that, you know, if history is an echo or like a ripple effect through time, I think 1946 is a really interesting year to look at, and then what happens after 1947.
Yeah, and as you said, the birth of the national security state in 1947, and I think it's really interesting because right after the election, that first week of November, the first thing we started thinking was, well, after just, you know, the elation of the proverbial lesser of two evils, we were really just so excited about this because of what we were able to avoid, other than, you know, with thinking about the options there. But then right afterwards, we're thinking, okay, there is a organic momentum building within people that is right now attached to one man out there who really doesn't even have a party, to call his own. This is not a Republican, the magnetism kind of a situation here. This is a people who are seeing different things for the first time that are frightening the hell out of them, whether it's some things that they're seeing in their retirements, their retirement packages, in their homes, in their local schools, the homelessness, the foreign migrants, the vagrancy, whatever the hell was going on, that they got a cold bucket of water to the face, and there was a lot of momentum that was galvanized and people coming together. And we started asking ourselves, how do you take that and turn it into something that's lasting, that has a lot more of an articulated focus and all that, and that really breaks the control in a lasting way that this two-party nonsense really had on people. And disclosure was one of the biggest things that we all came up with. It's been a topic that I've brought back up with several several guests since that all happened in November because I want to hear people's takes on it. And what you're talking about here right now too, when you go back to July of what 40 that July of 47 was Roswell, right? And Kenneth Arnold.
Yeah, and a year before, July 1st is the explosion at Bikini Atoll. And so this supernovae that I'm talking about is supposed to go off sometime between September of this past year and February 2025. And that's really like the temporal marker. That's like the celestial marker. That this thing, this massive heat flash in the sky seems to signal off this really high strange that happens, both from a power standpoint with the Bikini Atoll and the atomic bomb, but then the next year later when all that other stuff comes in. So I think to your point, what follows the drones is probably something along those lines in a repeat of 1947, but in a much different kind of way.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And obviously, any kind of disclosure is going to be viewed with extreme skepticism, even if it's coming from the government under, depending on how the bureaucracy is cleaned out. That would be interesting to see, because disclosure is one thing, confirmation is another, and I just wonder, as we're about to, jump into 2025 with a whole new field of possibility available to us that we didn't think that we were going to have if the other one got in. It's going to be interesting to see how confirmation, disclosure, and of course, any kind of false flag or any kind of event like that kind of balance each other out.
Yeah, I mean, it also reminds me a lot of when Terrence McKenna talked about sort of the arrival or the event horizon and novelty and all these things hitting us simultaneously. And it feels like we're approaching that, and the high strange it's just really started.
Yes, it has. Okay, well, Robert, thanks for calling in. Let everybody know you are live on your Rumble channel, 15 Minutes of Flame. Tell everybody the time that they can find you, the frequency, all that.
Yeah, so Tuesday through Thursday, we'll run Rumble 15 Minutes of Flame. That's at 9:10 Central Standard Time, and that's 15 minutes of OV. And then I also do the Astro Weather, which is a cool little astrology podcast at 8 a.m. over on YouTube. So we've got about 2.5 hours of my podcast time. And then the Friday podcast, which you were on one time, I'd love to have you back on as a guest again.
I'd love it.
That's Fridays at 12 noon. So let's do that. Let's hook back up and let's compare some notes.
I would absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Robert. I got 15 Minutes of Flame up on the screen right now. Hopefully a couple people go follow you over there.
Thank you, Frank. Have a good evening.
All right, take care. There you go. Our good buddy, Robert Phoenix. Okay, let's go and take, we have a couple more minutes, and we are about, okay. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, who's this?
Terry.
Terry, how are you?
Terry. Good, how are you?
I'm okay, Terry. What's on your mind tonight?
I just want to clear something up for everybody. Alien contact does not turn you gay.
It does not?
It does not.
Well,
I'm the girl who was touched by the alien, remember?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, yeah. I called. We had a little conversation a few months ago, and the topic was, have you ever touched an alien? Remember that?
No.
Have you ever had alien contact? You do not?
Wait,
Image
guys.
shots are blown.
Wait a second. Guys. Did I really have a topic? Have you ever been touched by an alien?
No, the topic was, have you ever touched an alien? Have you ever had alien contact? And I told you about the time that an alien slit me some skin. Remember? You don't remember.
No, I don't. This is freaking me out. Maybe this is part of the... Anyway, you know what? Somebody, if it does, somebody's going to dig it up for me. Somebody will get me the date, and I'll have to go take a listen to it. Anyway, Terry, it wasn't... I'm sure that aliens can make people do all types of things. It was more so the UFO, the craft itself, but that's a side thing. But you have had contact with an alien. It did not... Did it make you more heterosexual than you were before?
Probably.
Okay.
I'm super straight. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys hold on a second? You just said something right there. Everybody in the chat room, do you remember about, I don't know, how long ago was this? Anyway, Terry, wrap up your thoughts. First of all, you're caller number 19. So real quick, give me a thought before we get to the next caller. Go ahead.
Can I do some shout outs?
Go ahead.
All right. To Lisa and Cruz in Topanga, I hipped them to you, and they love your show. And to Sebastian and Woo Woo and Charlie and Jane in Alaska, they love your show. We love you. We love Aurora and Lauren and Matt and the whole crew. And you're everything. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Terry. And
happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. And I can't wait to hear from you again. And email me and give me some kind of a ballpark figure on when this call was, because I want to go back and I want to relive it now.
Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll let you know.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. You remember when? I don't know how long ago this was. It's probably like 6 or 7 years now. Super straight. You remember saying, "Are you super straight?" That was like that got like the left all bent out of shape. Like they were straight, but then they were super straight. I went looking for some old news to see where the hell it all is, because that's hilarious. Hold on, calls for a straight pride parade. No. Yes, a straight pride flag exists, and it's as ugly as the politics behind it. Oh, that's from Pink News. That's from 2024. What is super straight sexuality? I found it from 2021. It was not. It was really that recent. Refinery29.com. What kind of bullshit is this? The super straights are definitely not okay. The internet is often lauded as a technicolor cyberspace where lonely queer kids can find like-minded people and feel less alone. Ugh. Can you imagine going to refinery29.com every day to see what new pile of shit they published? Oh, I'm in them. You know what would be really great right now? Drink a little bit of coffee and read a steaming pile of shit. All right, give me this super straight. Claiming to be a movement that, okay, Redditors, the newest transphobic movement, super straight. Claiming to be a movement that represents a new sexual orientation. Super straight is supposed to be designation for people who are so straight that they can't possibly be attracted to a trans person. You see how retarded they are? It gained a growing. It's a joke. It's a joke because you wouldn't be, if you are straight, normal straight. If you're just straight, you're not going to be attracted to a member of the same sex in a skirt. But here they are. So anyway, super straight. That was 2021. I thought it was longer. Everything seems long. Anyway, okay. Actually, look at how fortuitous. Hello, mystery ship.
It is your friends, though. Who else would it be?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the captain of the mystery ship. It can only be one man. What's on your mind tonight, man?
So, hey, I heard you mention again tonight, as I've heard you mention at least 30 times in the 4 or 5 years I've been listening to you now, what it would be like for you to get out and get around the United States. And Frank, during the show tonight, I mapped out a little tour map. And man, I'm planting a seed here. Okay, it's December. You got all the next 5 months to think about it. If you were to rent yourself a little mini Winnebago, and you and Lauren and Aurora pile into that thing, from where you live, you could hit Pittsburgh, you could hit Columbus, Ohio, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Charlotte, Norfolk, and be home in a week, and still do your live shows every night, and people would show up to those locations. If they show up to meet me and I'm nobody, imagine the crowd you could draw, Frank.
Wow, we'd hit up every McDonald's Every McDonald's along the way. That's what we do. Or every Burger King that has a ball pit there. We'll just meet up in the ball pit.
You just need like a Hampton Inn that has like a guest greeting room or something like that, and book that, and have all the Franklies in the area show up. I mean, I promise they would show up. I bet in the chat right now people are saying I would be there.
Well, you know, it's an idea. And we're getting closer to it, Zoe, because I'll tell you, with all of these state fairs and everything that's going to start in 2025 to build up to the 250th anniversary of the United States, there's a lot of that I'm going to want to be around for. So there's going to be reasons just for history reasons, for professional reasons, family reasons, just to be on the road and be a little bit more flexible over the next couple of years, because I can't just commentate on everything from a safe distance. I got to see something, right?
I think it's going to loosen up, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for the call, man. By the way, you were caller number 24, so the next caller wins the coin.
Missed it by the hair on my chin.
That's it. I'll talk to you afterwards, though.
See ya.
Take care. All right. Who's the next caller? While you call in, Creative Waves on Rumble says Franklies are everywhere, right there on the street, hanging out, enjoying the morning in New Orleans. Apparently, Wart Guy says Franklies and especially Franciscans, please say a quick but earnest prayer for my brother who has surgery at 7:30 tomorrow. His name is Peter, 54 years old, and the situation is serious. Thank you. Please keep Wart Guy's brother Peter in your prayers and intentions for tomorrow morning. Absolutely. All the best to you and your family, Wart Guy. I please email me with the updates so that everybody knows. Pray for his recovery. Stephen Ellis says, Merry Christmas, Frank. Another great show. I agree. It was a fantastic show tonight. And here we go. 602, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Frank, it's BB. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, BB. Guess what? You're getting a Donald Trump round of copper.
Ooh, fun. I love copper.
Yes. Well, I mean, after the show, you just email me with your name and your area code so I know it's you, and then your address, and I'll send it off to you. But other than that, congratulations, and what's on your mind? You're the last one on the night.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, I've had so many thoughts on what you've had to say this week, but what has been super cool this week is all the guests and the callers. I mean, Lori from last night with her amazing Christmas story, the Christmas Angels, like, man, everybody's been so great, and your show is especially a shining star during December, so I appreciate it all.
I appreciate you saying that. I really think that we are in our sweet spot. There's always something to get behind and something to have fun with all throughout the year, but if I was going to say that, quite frankly, sweet spot, that is going to start those last gasps of September and then running all the way through to New Year's Day. That is really our sweet spot. I love late September to January 1st. And then, you know, we make do the rest of the way, but this is where the beating heart beats the quickest, I think.
Absolutely. It's been so fun, and just, you know, you really feel the season and the joy. I love it.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, and I'll be looking for you in my inbox.
All right. Have a great night.
Okay. Take care. Goodbye. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for tonight. I have a fun thing for you after the show. It's actually a pretty funny exchange from 2018. There was a Christmas show. I had Michael Knowles on the show a couple of times, 2 times exactly, between 2017 and 18. And this is the second appearance. From December 2018, after this show ends on quitefrankly.tv, the After Hours kicks off. It's Quite Frankly and Michael Knowles from December of 2018. Then it's Matt Christensen. Duke Lacrosse accuser finally admits that she lied. Believe all women, always. Tucker Carlson interviews Jeffrey Sachs, and then an Art Bell kicker with Jay Widener and Stanton Friedman. It's a moon landing debate. All that coming up after this show ends in a few moments. Go to quitefrankly.tv, cast it to your television, where it's very easy to cast to your smart TV, and just enjoy. Wonderful chat room too, going all throughout the night into the wee hours of the morning. let me make sure that I got everybody in the gold pills. Do you know King's YouTube channel? Yes. Let me see. Where is it? King 40. I'm going to have to find it. I'll put it up tomorrow. It's in my, I don't know. He's on Instagram too, but I have to find it. If somebody has it, just drop it into the chat room for now. I don't have it up. Stephen and Lori says, we're in for the road trip meetups. Got a card from Stephen and Lori as well. Wonderful for them. And then thank you, Sean Joe. Going to release the scratching soon. And Jay Britt says, always enjoy hearing from Monica and her wonderful mission. Thank you, Frank. Well, thank you all so much. I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We have we don't have a guest right now, but I have a couple of really cool topics in mind, and I hope that you take part in it all. So good night, everybody. I'll see you on quitefrankly.tv for the nightcap.
Think about it, though, Tom.
No!
Some weight loss.
How did I forget?
Will you shut up?
No, how did I forget? I take care of everything every night. And I forget this at least 2 nights a week. Incredible.
I'll catch you on the flip side.